Rangers have been dealt a potentially significant double blow in their search for another winger, with two players who had emerged as possible options now looking increasingly unlikely to arrive at Ibrox. Let's break this down. There is so much to discuss in today's video, so be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel for daily Rangers content. Derek McInnes has already added Daisuke Yokota to his attacking options, but the Rangers boss has made it clear that he wants further reinforcements out wide. And the latest developments suggest the club may now have to go back to the drawing board. The first setback comes in the pursuit of Faris Gedjamis. Rangers had been interested in the Frosinone winger, but it now appears that the Light Blues have effectively been priced out of a deal. To make matters worse, AS Monaco appear to be leading the race for the 23-year-old, making an Ibrox move look increasingly unlikely. And if that wasn't frustrating enough, Rangers have also suffered another setback involving a player who will be very familiar to supporters. Václav Černý has been heavily linked with a return to Glasgow following his previous spell with the club. And there had been suggestions that Rangers could look to bring the Czech international back on a permanent basis. However, that possibility now appears to be fading. Sports Digitale journalist Serkan Dikme has claimed that Besiktas currently have no plans to part company with Černý this summer. Speaking on his company's YouTube channel, Dikme stated that there is currently no situation in which Besiktas and Černý are set to separate. That is a major blow for Rangers, particularly given how much the player is understood to be liked within the club. So in the space of a short period, Rangers have potentially seen two attacking targets disappear from their list. Gedjamis because of the financial demands involved, and Černý because Besiktas appear unwilling to let him go. But this is where things could get particularly interesting. Rangers still need another winger, and with McInnes wanting the position addressed sooner rather than later, attention could now turn towards PSV's Kyle Driewiec. Driewiec appears to be a priority target, and unlike the situation with Černý, PSV are reportedly open to selling the player this summer. However, Rangers could face another major obstacle. Celta Vigo are also interested, and the player is believed to have a preference for a move to Spain. That could prove decisive. La Liga offers a much bigger platform than the Scottish Premiership, and if Driewiec has the opportunity to move to Spain, Rangers could find themselves facing a very difficult battle to convince him that Ibrox is the right destination. So while Rangers have already been forced to move away from Gedjamis, and Černý now looks increasingly difficult to bring back, the club's next move could be absolutely crucial. McInnes still needs another winger. The question is whether Rangers can finally get their man, or whether Driewiec becomes the latest target to slip through their fingers. Before we get into our next story, if you are enjoying today's video and you would like to see more and stay updated with the latest Rangers news, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel so you never miss a video. Thank you, let's get back into the video. Rangers have been left with plenty to think about after a damaging night in Poland, and Derek McInnes did not hold back when assessing exactly what went wrong. Rangers made the dream start against Jagiellonia Białystok, taking the lead inside just 4 minutes and looking completely in control of the game. But what followed was the complete opposite of what McInnes would have wanted to see. Rangers conceded twice in the space of just 17 minutes, and both goals came after mistakes that the Rangers boss believes his side simply cannot afford to keep making. And this is where McInnes's post-match comments become particularly interesting. Rather than blaming the opposition or making excuses, the Rangers manager essentially admitted that his own players had thrown the game away. McInnes said Rangers have been doing exactly what they wanted at the start of the match, controlling possession, rotating well in midfield and putting pressure on the Białystok defense. But after taking the lead, they stopped doing those things, and according to McInnes, that allowed Rangers to completely lose control of the contest. The Rangers boss was particularly critical of the mistakes around the edge of his own box, making it very clear that he does not want to see his team repeatedly giving the opposition opportunities in that area. He called for his players to be more concentrated, more aggressive, more organized, and, importantly, more vocal. And perhaps the most worrying part of his assessment was his admission that Rangers showed too much of what they were last season. They gave the opposition encouragement, they gave up too many chances. And ultimately, McInnes believes they beat themselves. That is a pretty damning assessment from the Rangers manager, especially after the club had been hoping to start this campaign strongly. However, it wasn't completely negative. The second half introductions of Finlay Curtis, Nico Raskin, and Cammy Devlin gave Rangers a much needed lift, while the manager also pointed towards some of the positives from the second half. Rangers created chances and looked physically capable of getting back into the game. But the biggest concern for McInnes wasn't actually the chances they failed to score. It was the chances they allowed Białystok to create. And that is something he knows has to change very quickly. There is also another major takeaway from McInnes' comments, and it could have a direct impact on what Rangers do before the transfer window closes. The Rangers boss openly admitted that the squad still needs strengthening. Ben Godfrey's injury has not helped, while Makania is still working his way back towards full match fitness. McInnes also pointed out that some of the new arrivals haven't had the minutes needed to be fully ready for matches of this intensity. But rather than simply accepting the situation, McInnes made it clear that Rangers are still working on bringing in more players. And crucially, he suggested that the Rangers squad could look very different by the time the transfer window closes. That is a huge statement, because while McInnes insists there are reasons for the current situation, he also knows that those reasons won't matter if Rangers aren't winning football matches. As he put it, managers and players are ultimately judged on winning games. And with Rangers now facing the second leg at Ibrox, McInnes has one opportunity to turn this around. The deficit is not insurmountable, and the Rangers manager clearly believes there is another big performance waiting to come. But after what happened in Poland, his message to the players is unmistakable. The mistakes have to stop, the concentration has to improve, and if Rangers are going to progress, they cannot afford to beat themselves again. But that is all for today's video. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. We post all the latest Rangers news every single day, so join our fast growing community so you never miss out. Thank you. I'll see you in the next video.